over 509 pounds. So I think she's bigger than anybody that's been on Biggest Loser, if I'm correct. Yeah. Today she's lost over 320 pounds. She's almost a goal here. We can just see it. It's just right there. Jenny is married, and there's her husband back there.
Jeremy.
Like a looking guy. And 2 great kids. She loves Zumba, I know that. Loves Zumba. Lots of different classes at the gym. Involved in Girl Scouts. And she loves to camp and hike with her family. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Jenny.
Okay, so how many people here have heard or read my story? Okay, most of you. Well, for those of you who haven't, as Elizabeth said, my name is Jenny Duncan. 9 years ago, I weighed in on a Weight Watchers scale at 509.6 pounds. To date, as she said, I have lost over 320 pounds and 20 pounds from my weight loss goal. I was asked to come here today to talk to you about activity and how I reached my activity goals. Let me ask you all a question. How many people here are physically active with an increased heart rate for at least 20 minutes once a week? Can you raise your hands? Okay. 2 to 3 times a week. 5 or more. Excellent. I can tell you from personal experience that while you can lose weight on this program without physical activity, you will be more successful when your activity, diet, and mental state are in sync. Today I'm going to talk to you about 3 things. Exercise is not a dirty word. Small changes lead to big results. And just keep going. So I'll pause here while you all gasp in horror at my use of the E word. But I am here to tell you that exercise or activity is not a dirty word. When I began this program at over 500 pounds, exercise absolutely was a dirty word to me. If you had asked me at that weight if I would ever come to love exercise, I would have laughed. But these days, I absolutely love being active. Back in those days, however, I hated exercise with a passion. It was very difficult for me to even move and also quite painful. Weight Watchers teaches us that we can lose weight by being physically active. Activity can count as anything from walking your dog to gardening to shoveling snow, as so many of us have been doing lately. When I first started, even these simple tasks were extremely difficult. But once I got into a routine and began to do it, it came naturally, and it became a healthy habit. I began by walking from my apartment to a signpost around the corner and back. Here I was, this 500-pound woman, my husband, and my daughter in a stroller, stopping frequently to catch my breath and cry. It took me about 45 minutes to walk that block and back. And this is Coeur d'Alene. This wasn't exactly a large-sized city block, but I did it. The next time I set out, I walked to a tree, and the next time to another signpost, until eventually I reached my first major goal of walking to the park about a quarter of a mile away so that I could play with my daughter. Okay, and by the way, walking to the park and playing with your children or grandchildren is also activity. See, you can add activity into your lifestyle quite easily. It doesn't just have to be going to the gym and busting out a workout till you're drenched in sweat. Although I personally have been more successful on this journey since I began to add in classes and became more physically active. Over the last 9 years, my life and the life of my family has been enriched because I chose to view exercise as a lifestyle change and not a dirty word. Can I have all the Lifetime members stand, please? These people should be your examples. They are proof of what happens when you make small changes and stick with them. Thank you, Lifetime members. remember attending my first few Weight Watchers meetings and thinking, why in the world are all these thin people here? Weight Watchers is for fat people. See, I hadn't yet grasped the concept that these people were thin because they had grasped the fundamentals of Weight Watchers and been successful. I too was successful on this program after joining in 2004, and by 2007 I hit 200 pounds lost for the first time. 2 weeks later I found out I was pregnant with my youngest child, Jacob, and my Weight Watchers was suspended. During my pregnancy I was diagnosed with placenta previa and put on bed rest, and I quickly began to pick up habits that had caused me to reach 500 pounds in the first place. After giving birth, I rejoined Weight Watchers having gained 100 pounds that I had lost. I continued with low activity and poor diet and expecting results. Over a year later and 10 pounds heavier, I decided that I could do it on my own and walked away. Recently, I read a quote that resonated with me and described that period in time. Albert Einstein said, "Insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results." Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I am often asked what some of the changes are that I made. As I mentioned, I began by walking, and I quickly added in videos. I started with a low intensity video, and I made it about 5 minutes before I had to stop. But each day I added in more until I was able to make it through low, moderate, and high intensity videos, step by step and day by day. These days I can rock out P90X, Zumba, and Biggest Loser videos because I took those first steps. Soon after joining Weight Watchers, I picked up a Weight Watchers pedometer, and I began to keep track of my steps. I started with 5,000 and made my way up to 10,000 as a goal. A friend and I were both trying to lose weight, and though neither of us had the money to go visit each other, we decided that we would keep track of our steps and walk to each other's houses. I was able to walk to my friend's house in Missouri as one of the goals that I set. There have been so many changes and goals on my journey that it would be difficult for me to name them all. But some of the longest lasting and easiest were my pedometer and my ActiveLink. I love my ActiveLink. It has helped me to reach my fitness goals by making 100% a day and challenged me to make new goals within my fitness. In 2009, about a year after giving birth to my son, I decided to join my first fitness class and was invited to attend a Zumba class with a friend. At 370 pounds, I guess I could have balked at that idea, but I decided that I could do it. I absolutely thought I was going to die. I was self-conscious and uncoordinated, and I decided that one day I would be doing Zumba in the front row, and one day I did. These days, I do about 8 Zumba classes a week, nearly always front and center. I love Zumba, and it just took me finding something that I loved and making small changes to make this work for me. From keeping a packed gym bag in my car, to having a variety of weights in my living room, and cutting out a TV show that I wasn't enjoying that much anyway to add in a class. All easily made changes that led to a healthier lifestyle. As I mentioned earlier, in 2010, after many struggles and refusing to make small changes, I decided I could do it on my own. I made it about a year before I sat on my anniversary in my car in 2011 crying because I was unhappy and not the healthy person that I wanted to be. My husband told me that he had seen my struggles and that he would help me with whatever I needed. And there began the next step on our journey. The next day, I rejoined Weight Watchers, and I began to make small changes and add in the things I had learned about activity to our lifestyle. We started hiking as a family, and we began with Tubbs Hill and Coeur d'Alene, and this last summer we hiked over 9 miles with 30-pound packs to near the top of Cape Horn and Farragut State Park. Through hiking, I learned something that I hadn't understood. If I kept going and didn't give up, I would eventually make it to the next signpost or the next hill. I am often asked what keeps me motivated. And at this point, I can say that it's things like watching the sun creep over the mountains while hammocking in the trees with my family and being able to hike 9 more miles out. It's things like dancing in the front of a Zumba class and watching my daughter lead, my 12-year-old daughter lead Zumba when I know that she could have become just another statistic of childhood obesity with a morbidly obese mom and family. It's watching my 5-year-old chase down boys bigger than him while playing flag football. And it's being able to walk 6 miles a day with my cousin or climb on a bike for the first time since I was 12 years old and ride mile upon mile. What kept me going and motivated was and is my family and the changes I saw in our lifestyle and myself day after day. I'm not telling you that you have to go out and run a marathon tomorrow or climb a mountain or do 8 high-intensity classes. What I am telling you is that if you make small changes, keep going, and take it a step at a time, you will be able to do this. We all have our challenges of making activity work in our life. For me, it was even getting started and keeping going at such a high weight. So today, I challenge all of you to think about what your signpost is and use it to reach your next goal. Thank you.
Okay, do you have any questions for Jenny?
Feel free, I'm an open book.
That is very emotional.
Yeah. It is very emotional for me. I had a hard time doing it. The part about my daughter, I cried the first 4 or 5 times I practiced it because it's definitely, I was childhood obesity from 5 years old, and I've never been this small and since
Well, looking through your book and stuff, your family in the beginning, you could see the starts of that.
Yeah, he
and
lost about 40 or 50.
Yeah,
so.
and in the end, you all look healthy.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
Yeah.
I think your husband needs a hand.
Yeah.
What a support.
Yeah, he's a huge support system. Yes.
Are you doing the point system?
Actually, I'm pretty much following Simple Start most of the time because I have done core before, and that's what it was when I first started it, and I lost about 70 pounds doing core, and then it became Simply Filling. And so when it became Simple Start, I went and did it, and the first week I lost like 9 pounds, and then, so I mean, I've done pretty well with it. I've had my ups and downs after Super Bowl because my team won the Super Bowl.
Our team.
Yes, our team.
We're in Washington now.
I've done pretty well staying on it, and I really like it. It's a lot easier, and I feel a lot fuller eating it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you feel guilty when some of that Simple Start? I think, oh my goodness, I can't eat. Like a potato.
Yeah.
Or
yes.
As much of pasta or rice.
Yes. Yeah, we made barley the other day, and usually I put barley in soup, and I think it was barley or something, and I was like, oh, I can have this. And like rice and things and oatmeal, I'm like, I can have oatmeal, and I don't have to like count it and measure it. Like I'm still measuring and weighing everything because I'm in such a pattern, and I've done my tracking every day for close to 2 years without missing a day, and so I am very set on measuring and stuff, but I don't have to. I just do it, and yeah, so it's become a habit, and it's something that I do, but it's nice knowing that I don't have to. Yeah, I definitely felt guilty. I've been like, oh, it's a potato. I did the same thing when fruits became 0 points though, because I was like, I need a banana. They freeze, and I don't have to count it. Yeah, so I totally agree with you. Yeah. Anybody else?
We probably started out initially, you probably lost pretty quickly, and now you're a lot smaller. Is it harder to stay on plan because you're not moving as fast?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been stuck in the same 20-ish spot for about a year and a half now, and so it's up and down and up and down. Like Super Bowl weekend, I gained 10 pounds in 2 days. Yeah, and that's actually pretty normal. It has to do with the fact that I was morbidly obese and my fat cells can rapidly contract because I was so big. So I mean, I understand that, but I mean, yeah, I did shots with my brother and it was worth it, so. So I go up and down and it's normal. When I first started, I dropped a huge amount of weight and very short periods. Like, I think it's in my scrapbook, but it was very rapid, like 50 pounds within like 12 weeks or something. It was very quickly. And it's been like that. But then I had, as I talked about, I had a period where I went up and down the same 10 pounds. And then at the end of the year, I was 10 pounds heavier, and I just decided I could do it on my own. And that's because I wasn't doing what I needed to do. Yes?
That was my question was about that time. When you went back, what did you do? What changed?
In 2011, when I came back, activity was huge for me because I hadn't been active. I had done Zoom classes, but I did them about once a week. And when my instructor moved to a different gym, I was like, oh wait, whatever, I'm done. And so I stopped doing it, and I wasn't as active. So activity was huge. But honestly, it was following the fundamentals of the plan. It was tracking and measuring and doing activity and staying positive. Like I have this mantra that is no excuses, and Biggest Loser stole it from me. But it's been my mantra. Yes, so it's definitely something. I don't make excuses. If I have a bad week, I had a bad week, and that's it. And I just kept going because I knew that if I kept going, I was going to be able to do this. If I didn't keep going, I was going to end up at 500 pounds again because it's all too easy to do. Anybody else? Awesome. Very nice. You want me to show you?
Yes, yes.
Oh, my starting
Oh my
Scrapbooks back here. If you want to take a look and see some of her journey, it's just amazing. You just cannot even picture you. It's,
It's hard for me to picture, honestly.
It's a different person.
Yeah.
So very nice. What do you think? Is that inspirational? Thank you. I'm so glad that Jenny and her husband came all this way.
Yes.
Next week we're going to do something we've never done in Weight Watchers before. We're going to have you join an activity club. Right, exactly. What do you think? What we're going to do is we're going to talk about in the meeting some ideas for activity clubs that you would like to join. Maybe it's a 10,000 step club, maybe it's get off the couch club, maybe it's get ready for Bloomsday club. And we're going to make a list of all the clubs, and then we're going to have you join them in the meeting, in your group, in your club. And then you can decide if you want to just touch base with each other at the meeting each week, or if you want to email each other, or you want to meet outside the meeting. Or if you don't want to join a club, we'll have one of those. Don't want to join a club. Okay, I know. They were doing this. I'm like, okay, that's out of my comfort zone, but we'll see how we do. Also, next week we're going to start the Live Life Active campaign. Weight Watchers does it every year. And so, for being active this week, in the next 3 weeks, you get little stickers. They'll go on a chart and we'll put up, put your name on it. Into the 4 weeks, you'll get a little, really cute little charm, activity charm. Another thing we're going to do in 2 weeks is we're going to have an activity equipment swap. So be thinking about if you've got any of your old DVDs, VHSs, some of the oldies, any equipment that you bought that you're not using that you wanted to swap out, bring it in. So we'll remind you next week. So it should be kind of fun. I think a lot of us have got some things maybe we want to change up. I saw a hand. It's a question.
Are we doing this at Fort Wayne too?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to do Fort Wayne too. We get the same meetings here and there.
That's what I thought.
Okay. All right, Kathy.
I found this on Pinterest yesterday. The time will pass anyway. You can either spend it creating the life you want, or spend it living the life you don't want.
Amen.
With those words of wisdom, I think that's where we're going to end. Also, if you're in your first or second week, please stay. We'll go through the orientation. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great week.
Oh gosh, I know how to not cry. Yeah, that's right.